guys. So for tonight's video, I wanted to talk about obsessive compulsive disorder. You may be asking what makes me qualified to talk about that. Well, I've had it for my entire life. It makes things a little bit weird, I have to say. So, there's this misconception that obsessive compulsive disorder means that you're very, very clean all the time. Like you always have to clean up your room, or you always have to make sure your spots are like completely 100% in order and clean. And like you'll sit there for hours just scrubbing at like something that isn't there because you're so convinced that it's not clean. But like, and I've had family bring that up, but that's not really what OCD is, at least in my experience. OCD is more like if you don't flip a light switch 50 times, every time you leave a room you're going to develop cancer or something. Or if you don't look both ways 20 times before you cross the street, you're going to get hit by a car automatically. It's just these really bizarre little things they call rituals. And you do them because even though you know on some level that it's ridiculous, something still compels you to do these things. It's almost like this fear, this nagging thing in the back of your mind that makes you think, but what if? But what if? What if I don't do this thing and then there's dire consequences? What if I don't do this thing and I was right the whole time, even though you know that it's ridiculous? And I just wanted to say, if anyone watching this has OCD, then I'm wishing you well, and I hope that you're able to get through it. For me, I've found that Lexapro has somewhat helped. It's more so helped with anxiety, but there are times, every once in a while, where I'll be worried that if I don't do something, there'll be disastrous consequences. I can tell you some examples from when I was younger. So I used to have very, very, very bad OCD regarding like pathogens and stuff like that. It kind of crossed over with germophobia. And I would be like, okay, well, I gotta wash my hands as many times as I can after I touch anything. I can't touch anything. And so I'd wash my hands and wash my hands. And I would wash them so much that they would crack and bleed. It'd be something similar to like eczema. And the thing is, that actually makes things worse. So if you do that, in a way, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I remember I'd spend so much time washing my hands, thinking, for sure, this is going to make sure that my hands will be completely germ-free, I'm clean. And like, when I was working, it'd be like 16 times an hour I'd wash my hands. 16 times an hour times 8. Like, that's ridiculous. By the end of the night, my hands would be like red and like just cut up. It's not a way to do things. And there was other stuff too. Like when I was growing up, especially, remember that light switch example I gave you? It was always a fear of terminal illness or something like that. That if I didn't flip the light switch or something, that something just catastrophic would happen. And I don't know what causes it. Well, I mean, I know it's like a mental thing, but it makes no sense. But people keep being, when you have OCD, I mean, you're just compelled to do these rituals. I remember at one point in time, like if I would cross the street and go right instead of left, it would mean I would develop terminal illness and die. Or there was a time when I actually had to drive around a manhole that I saw It's like, what? That doesn't make sense. Like, it's ridiculous. But that's what OCD does. And the thing is, in situations like that, it's critical that you have some sort of a support system. Now for me, I didn't have a support system. My family didn't understand what OCD was. They just said, oh, it's just, it's, you have to clean a lot and you're not a neat freak, so you don't have OCD. It's like, you don't understand anything, do you? But I'm trying to think of some other stuff that had happened. I know that one big thing that I worry about now with my OCD is food allergies. I'd eaten some oysters and got kind of blotchy. And ever since then, it's always Claritin every day. For a while it was Benadryl, but apparently Benadryl actually can cause like Alzheimer's and stuff. It's really actually not a very good drug at all. They should probably get rid of it. People abuse it and stuff, Benadryl. But yeah, so it's like Claritin's every day. My Pepsid every day, which actually Pepsid is it's not meant to be, but it functions as a allergy medication as well. And I just kind of try to ignore it and go about my day, but there's always that fear of like, oh, I'll eat the wrong thing, go into anaphylaxis and die. And I think a lot of what OCD is, apart from like a subconscious mental thing, is fear of loss of control. Fear that you won't be in control of your own life or destiny. And it sometimes really does feel like that. But here's the thing. If you have OCD, or if you have a family member who has OCD, you need to show them like a support system. And I also think that you probably need to do exposure therapy. Now what that means is, over time, desensitize yourself to that fear by putting yourself in situations where you might be around it. Now obviously, if it's something where you actually have like severe allergies to something, that's different. I have cat allergies. I can't be around them without having an asthma attack. And even when I take allergy medication, I worry quite a bit. But you have to try to be strong in the face of adversity. In this case, the adversity coming from within. And I don't know, I've been able to get rid of most of the OCD, but I must admit, some of it does stay around. And then come vices that you use to cope with the OCD. For me, a lot of food, stuff that makes my health poor, gives me acid reflux all the time, GERD all the time, horrific GERD, probably to the point there's like Barrett's esophagus. These vices, some people use drugs, I use food and stuff. They can be something that you do to cope with OCD. And eventually I'm hoping to get rid of that. And I'm hoping that if you're listening and have OCD, that you can get rid of any unhealthy coping mechanisms you have as well. Because you have to remember, it's not real. The fears that the rituals and stuff cause isn't real. It can't actually do anything. You're always thinking of, what if it happens? What if? But the thing is, it won't. It never will. And if it does, it wasn't because of that. Sometimes things just happen. Sadly. Like I remember, this happened relatively recently. It's pretty sad. I don't want to talk about it to cheapen what happened. But my girlfriend's dad had found this injured duck. It walked into like a bunch of glue and stuff. It was not in good shape. And we brought it home because we were going to take it to the It's like an animal rehab facility. And we gave it like this water bottle, and we're gonna take care of it for just like the day until we took it there. We gave it food, and everything seemed good. And later on that night, for reasons I don't quite understand, it passed away. And like, I don't understand why that happened. I don't understand why bad things happen. And ultimately, the answer I've come to is that things just happen. And it's depressing, but in the context of OCD, you can't always be worried about these negative things that could happen. Because if you spend all your time worried about those things, then eventually everything's just gonna pass you by. You know, I spent like pretty much my entire 20s worried about these stupid things, and all it did was give me unhealthy coping mechanisms, and all that did was give me health issues. If I wouldn't have spent my time worrying about this stupid garbage, then I wouldn't have any of these health issues. I'd be fine. I wouldn't have worse OCD than before. I wouldn't have health anxiety. It's just stupid to let these things rule your existence. I'm not calling you stupid. I'm saying you have finite life on this planet, at least until we develop immortality or whatever. Why spend that time in fear? Why not try to live to the best of your ability and have the best life you can? Think about it. You could be an amoeba right now. You could be a penguin, which would be pretty cool, but you were born a human. I think that maybe happened for a reason, and if it didn't happen for a reason, if there's no God or whatever, then at least you have to admit you were extremely lucky to be born at the absolute top of the food chain, to be born a person. So why spend your time in fear? What I'm asking, if you watch this and you have OCD, is that you try something. For me, it was Lexapro, and I was worried that if when I first tried it, I was worried that for me, I would have some sort of an allergic reaction to the medication and die. Well, I didn't. And even though I felt very weird for a while, I just buckled down and kept taking the medication until eventually it started to make a difference, and I was able to get through my life and just function, better. And it has helped. I've taken it for, I want to say, maybe just about a year now. I know at least since October. Or maybe before then, since maybe April of 2024, and it's helped. It's made a tremendous difference. I'm not suggesting you should take that. If you can find something, ask your doctor. Something that can help you get past OCD, along with, if you're up for it, exposure treatment. You may have to do that yourself, because I don't think exposure therapy is really conventionally offered that much unless you have a lot of money, which, if you do, all the power to you. You're doing something right, I guess, because you can have this income that you can put towards this issue you have. I strongly suggest you fix it, because that means you can enjoy your life more. But yeah, you gotta take it one day at a time, and you gotta remember it won't happen. It won't happen. Always remember in the back of your mind, when you think it will, it won't. Why would pushing a light switch 20 times be a life or death situation? This isn't like a nuclear launch button, it's just some light switch in like an apartment. It's not going to kill you, alright? It's not. I don't know. I think the best thing to have is a support system of good friends, people who will listen to you but not baby you, people who actually want to see you succeed. And if you have it, and you're blessed if you have it, a family that supports you. I mean, I didn't have the family that supported me in that way, but to take myself out of that hole. And I believe in you that you can too. So I know this was a bit of a shorter video, but I thought it was an important one. I was thinking in the comments, if you're comfortable with doing it and you have OCD, you could leave what your rituals are and what your experience with OCD is, because I'd like to hear about it, because I know it's a fairly common thing, even unfortunately to a severe level. But again, I want you to know that you're not alone, and that I'm genuinely wishing you well. So, if you listen to this, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day or night, and that you're able to just kind of sleep soundly for a while or relax. I really appreciate you guys being here, and I'll see you in the next one.